Right now at 6, how a change in funding is impacting the Carthage Humane Society.
And we have dangerous road conditions across the area. Snow, the bulk of it coming to a close, but still leaving us with slick spots. A look at those road conditions and forecast to get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, the city of Joplin seeks opinions ahead of discussions about public transportation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Friday, January the 10th, and it is snowy outside.
Really
We had winter storm warnings. They were pushed a little further north. And that's, did I not say that Mother Nature was going to take the path least taken when I said there was a very low chance that that low bringing the snow might drift a little further north? And by golly, Mother Nature went with that. 30 possible choices, went with that one. All right. And that's what happened. And I know we've wanted some snow, folks. We want some snow. I know there's probably a number of school closings and other places that are closed. Make sure you check our website, check the KOAM News app because, lots of good reasons to stay home. We're going to show you why you want to stay home by taking a look outside downtown Joplin. Our camera on top of the Cornell complex. Now, again, about 30 minutes ago, we witnessed a gentleman making a left turn from 7th here onto Joplin. And when he came around that corner, he wasn't even going that fast. He stopped turning and went straight up onto the sidewalk. In fact, you can kind of see those tire tracks right there. Missed that walk sign. He backed up and managed to get going. Wasn't even going that fast. And here's the deal. You can almost not see those tracks because it is still getting some light snow down there. It's still getting light snow around the area. We're not quite done with it. So there's going to be slick spots for most of the first half of our day. Road crews are out there doing everything they can. But the best way, in fact, there goes some road crews right now. The best way to help them out is stay off the roads for right now. Unless you absolutely have to be out this morning, don't, okay? Leave the roads clear so they can get out there and do their job. That way, tomorrow or even later this afternoon, getting some cabin fever, you can get out and take care of that. But they can't clear the roads if you do not stay off of them this morning. MoDOT camera, I-44. This is actually looking at 43 south toward Seneca. Traffic moving slowly. Looking still snow covered. I-44. This is from Range Line. Looking east. So if you're coming off Range Line, this is where you'd be coming off. Still snow out there. Same at Main Street. On Main Street down below at exit 6. And on I-44 itself, you can see all the snow that's still out there on these roadways. You've got to slow down. You've got to stay home if you can. I've said it a dozen times, but we're going to continue to see, unfortunately, situations like that pickup truck this morning, not even going fast, not driving wildly at all. It's just that slick. KDOT camera 69. This is south of Pittsburgh. We're going to look inside as this car passes, and you still can't see the markings on the road. You can't hardly see the road as this truck comes by. You got to be careful. I know I've said it 100 times, and you're going to get really tired of me saying it, but seriously, we don't want any crashes. We've already had enough in some locations. We don't want to have any others. We don't want you to be in one. Roads are listed as covered across southeast Kansas out there, excluding Garnett, where we've got partially covered around the Garnett area, so some improvements there. I-44 from the state line to St. Louis, covered. I-49 from Arkansas to Kansas City, covered. Okay, you're not going to be able to get anywhere even if you wanted to. We have got covered roadways across the entire area, and of course these are just the highways. This doesn't even include all the city streets, back roads, country roads, and if the main roads are covered, you know the roads back behind are going to be covered as well. Here comes that last band of at least some moderate snow out there. Continuing to push off to the east, we've got some of it exiting southwest Missouri, so around Monette, Mount Vernon, and this band now just to the southeast of Chanute, getting ready to roll into Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, out there, and eventually make its way a little further to the east. Well, otherwise, once this last bit of snow is done in the next hour or two, we'll be mostly cloudy, a few isolated snow showers, maybe a couple of flurries, but accumulating snow is done. We're going to be breezy with north winds gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour. Sitting at 27 Joplin and in Pittsburgh, and temperatures around the region holding on to the upper 20s this morning. And now we're starting to see we've got a couple of 30-degree readings out there in Yates Center and Sedan. Highs today, low to mid-30s. Again, the bulk of the snow starting to wrap up pretty early this morning. And a stray flurry or snow shower is possible, but otherwise we'll be done with it as we head into the afternoon. We're going to talk more about this snowfall, take another look at road conditions, keep you updated on that, and talk about some warm weather on the way here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. A house fire claims the life of a Pittsburgh resident. Fire crews responded to the fire on West 21st Street shortly after 6 yesterday morning. They got there and confirmed with police that 2 people were involved. EMS took 1 person to Mercy Hospital. The other resident died at the scene. Officials are not releasing the name until they contact next of kin. They're investigating what caused the fire. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. And you can also get the latest road conditions and power outages across the area anytime through this QR code. It'll direct you to links on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, for that information for each of the 4 states in our viewing area. Well, the Joplin School Board of Education announces its approval for the first phase of upcoming projects. These projects are geared toward everything from addressing educational suitability, intensive programs, and early childhood expansion. Phase 1 funding to focus on these projects would total of $9.5 billion to be funded by capital outlay reserves. The committee plans to present their final longer-term recommendations to the board in June 2025. And the city of Joplin held a meeting to answer questions from residents about the relaunch of the Sunshine Lamp Trolley. The service was originally halted in 2022 due to a lack of bus drivers. The city has now hired new drivers, and the new buses are smaller and will seat 12 to 14 people. The buses will make the same stops as before and will run from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m.
We have a huge population of people that do not have access to transportation, and transportation changes lives. If you can't get to work or to your employment, well, then your life's not very full.
Now, they expect the trolley to be up and running by the first week of February. The Carthage Humane Society informed the city of Carthage this week that it is terminating its contract with the city. Now, this cuts off city funding to the shelter and means the city can't surrender animals to the Humane Society without paying a $200 fee per animal. This comes after months-long discussions regarding funding concerns and the number of animals being turned into the shelter. According to the Humane Society, in 2024, the city of Carthage paid the society roughly $49,000, while their operating cost exceeded $470,000.
We have to take care of the animals, and we have to try to find them loving homes. That's it. That's why we're here. That's what we want to do. It's not to make a profit. It's not to, punish the city. It's none of those things. That's not what we want. We just want to be able to take care of the animals.
The mayor of Carthage says the termination was unexpected and that there has been recent discussions about increasing funding. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Supreme Court prepares to hear arguments on the TikTok ban that is set to take place this month. Plus, the death toll continues to rise from multiple fires burning in Southern California. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping Nation Watch this morning. The highest court in the land will decide the fate of TikTok. The Supreme Court agreed to expedite the video sharing platform's First Amendment case. Arguments set to start at 10 a.m. Friday are expected to last more than 2 hours. At issue is a ban Congress passed in April. Now it requires TikTok to either shut down or find a new owner. The ban enjoyed bipartisan support on national security fears surrounding the app's Chinese ownership. Now the court will consider whether those fears outweigh TikTok's First Amendment rights. The app is currently facing a deadline of January 19th before the law kicks in. Well, deadly wildfires continue to ravage Southern California as winds pick up and new fires sprout up in the region. Some residents impacted by the earlier fires have returned to find their homes reduced to rubble. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office says at least 10 people have died. Danya Bacchus has the story.
In Southern California, the death toll is rising and the flames are still spreading. Thursday, the Kenneth Fire erupted in Woodland Hills.
This new fire shows that we are absolutely not out of this extreme weather event.
Los Angeles and surrounding areas have been on fire since Monday, starting in the Pacific Palisades community. These images show the extent of the devastation.
Looks like a bomb, an atomic bomb dropped in these areas.
To show you how these fires have wiped out entire communities, this was a Ralph's grocery store that is now just mangled metal. And other businesses like doctors' offices, clothing shops, and restaurants all look like this.
Some things in life are worth fighting for.
Pacific Palisades resident John Carr defied evacuation orders and stayed behind to protect his and his neighbors' homes from the fire using a water hose.
The house was built by my mother and father in 1960. I think I owed it to them as well to try my best to save it.
In Altadena, there's heartbreak.
The whole community is gone.
Kamiko Nickerson says her father, 82-year-old Rodney Kit Nickerson, also didn't evacuate.
And he said he'll be fine. I'll be here when you guys come back.
His remains were found in the rubble of their family home. Local officials warn the number of dead is likely to rise as crews move in to search for more victims of these tragic fires. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, hundreds of thousands of people are without power in California this morning, according to the website poweroutage.us. Meanwhile, multiple Los Angeles professional sports teams are rescheduling their games due to the fires. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look at some cameras around the area. We've got still some snow out there as we get our Friday morning started. We have a number of closures out there as well. In addition, these roads are slick. We have seen some near-miss accidents out there. If you don't have to be out, don't. You got to slow down if you do have to be out. Road crews are working, but you got to give them time and space. We're having another look at road conditions and what happens when the snow comes to an end when we come back.
Well, rock and roll fans around the world are celebrating what would have been Elvis Presley's 90th birthday this week. Parties are set to stretch into the weekend, and Tina Cross reports.
All aboard the Elvis Express.
Yeah, I'm all shook up.
Everyone was after a 6-hour train trek down under to pay tribute to the king.
Yesterday, Elvis would have been 90 years old, 90 years young. His spirit lives on.
More than 4 decades after his death, tens of thousands of fans kept the rock and roll revolution alive at Australia's annual Elvis Festival.
Party time. A party time, great time.
I've already bumped into people from America, people from France. They come from all over the world, and there are many, many Elvis impersonators, but there's only one Elvis.
Elvis sold more than 1 billion records in his lifetime, making him one of the best-selling artists ever.
Can't put into words what he's done for the rest of the world.
While Elvis has left the building, his hits are still inspiring new generations of fans.
And this one here, he loves to join in on the dancing.
Keeping the king's spirit swinging 90 years later. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
The 90th birthday celebrations for Elvis are stretching into the weekend in Memphis, where he called Graceland his home. Now let's head over to Chris with another look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves dangerous road conditions out there still. We got snow across the region. Snow will eventually come to an end. Hopefully plow crews will be able to get things done. We'll have a look at your forecast and those road conditions right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is coming up on 6:21 this Friday. Now, the car's just cleared, but I want to tell you, we've been watching these cameras, not just this one, but a number of them across the area, and we have been seeing people driving too fast. We've seen some near-miss accidents of people trying to slow down and turn, and somebody else is coming up too fast on these slushy roads. They may look somewhat clear, but I am telling you right now, they are absolutely not. You have got to slow down or simply do not go out if you don't have to. We have seen one near accident here. We've seen another one just moments ago up by 7th and Main. You have to be careful, okay? And if you can stay home, do. Because you see all this piled up on the roads, that's not easy to drive on. And if you're trying to turn or anything like that, you are going to slide. So just please stay home. If you have no reason to be out, don't. All right, the road crews have got to get out here and do their thing, and they can't if everyone's driving on the roads this morning, getting in the way or leading to other issues. You've got to let these folks do their job unless you absolutely need to be out on the roads. MoDOT cameras, let's take a look. Highway 43 looking south towards Seneca. We've got still snow out there. Snow, I-44, this is that range line looking east. Still snow and slush on the highway itself. Look at the on-ramp here. This is at exit 11 on I-44. It's completely covered. And parts of I-49 and 249 here are still covered as well. Same up here. This is at Main Street. This is Main Street down here. This is I-44. That's Mercy, so we're looking east. I can't say it enough. And watching these cameras this morning, seriously, we have seen that people are going too fast for these conditions, and there are too many folks out that probably don't need to be. You've got to just stay home, stay off the roads, and again, if you have to be out there, slow down. Look at 20th Street, westbound from around Aldi's and Home Depot, heading toward Rangeline. The Rangeline intersection's right there. That's snow covered. This side looks somewhat better, but we're talking maybe one clear lane. We can't emphasize it enough. Same from 32nd and Rangeline, the MoDOT camera there. Some improvements. The left turn lanes are still covered. The right turn islands are going to be 69 just south of Pittsburgh. Also still mostly covered. And as we look at the road condition maps, the only improvements we've seen are around Garnett, where we have partially covered. Every other major highway, every other highway in southeast Kansas is listed as covered. And that's the highways. That's not even counting city streets, county roads, back roads, rural routes, your driveway. All right, if the main highways are still covered, it is not safe to get out this morning. It's why a number of things are closed this morning as well. And something else to point out too, I-44 from the state line to St. Louis, covered. I-49 from Arkansas to at least Kansas City, covered. Even if you wanted to go somewhere, you very likely are not going to make it. We're not quite done with the snow yet. We still have some light snow in between. It's just not showing up on radar. Some moderate snow. This last band of moderate snow is continuing to actually break up a bit, but it will push off to the east. Once it gets through in the next couple hours, the accumulating snowfall is done, and we'll be left with just a few lingering snow showers, maybe a couple of flurries under mostly cloudy skies heading into the afternoon today. We go into our Saturday. Winds are going to be gusting today out of the north. Tomorrow they'll be out of the south and will be a little warmer. Starting mostly cloudy, but gradual clearing. And we're looking at highs going into the upper 30s and maybe even some low 40s. For today, though, we're still eventually going to make low 30s, maybe some mid 30s, back down into the upper teens and 20s tonight. We'll have the north winds gusting today, south winds gusting tomorrow, maybe some flurries Sunday, a little cooler on Monday. Then take a look at Thursday, Friday next week. We go from a little below normal to a little above normal into the 50s with another system by next weekend bringing some additional rain and snow chances. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, conditions which led to the LA wildfires are becoming more common due to climate change. A study by UCLA found the Earth is experiencing more frequent bouts of hydroclimate whiplash when conditions rapidly shift from intensely wet to dangerously dry. Now that means more floods, more droughts, and more fires. Patients say care at hospitals got worse after they were acquired by private equity firms. A study published in JAMA surveyed patients and found the number of people who said they received high quality care dropped after private equity firms took over hospitals. The number of hospitals acquired by private equity has risen in the past decade. And more than a third of the food produced in America goes in the trash can. A UC Davis study found states aren't doing enough to reduce food waste, saying the U.S. will likely fail to reach its goal of cutting food waste in half by 2030. The U.S. generates more food waste than nearly every other country on Earth. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, the new year will bring a new look to the Liggett & Platt Athletic Center at Missouri Southern.
And while the bulk of the snow starts to rotate out, it has left behind dangerous road conditions. We'll take a look at those road conditions and the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Route 66 Theater in Webb City raises the curtain on this year's Great Wonders Uplift Film Fest.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Friday, January the 10th, and of course we had that snow. Still have some snow out there. It's a lot of fun to be out in, and that's the other nice thing is, the last few snows we've had, it's been like 5 degrees outside.
Sure.
This snow, it's a little warmer. If kids want to get out and play, it's a little better for them to bundle up. They're not going to, get as cold as fast. They can have a little fun, and it's a wet snow, which is great for making snowballs.
I know, like sledding too.
Yeah, this is a very good snow for that. You betcha. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's a long story you'll never understand, but it's all right. Let's take a look, though, because there's one concern that we seriously have this morning. It has been watching cameras around the area, okay? First off, we saw a guy. He was making a left turn. He was driving slowly, driving carefully from 7th to Joplin. Do you see what we're talking about? That guy went straight. As he made that turn, his vehicle stopped turning, missed that walk sign, but went up onto the curb. This person was driving safely. We've been watching too many folks that have gone down here. They are taking the roads too fast. We've seen near rear end accidents up here where people are slowing down to turn. They're not leaving enough distance. They're going too fast for these conditions. Now, these folks seem to be going a little bit slower, but you have got to take it seriously. It may look okay. It's not. It doesn't matter what kind of vehicle you have. You still have to drive slow. Yeah, you've got four-wheel drive or whatever the case may be. Well, it's designed for you to operate it safely in order for it to keep you safe. But if you're out here in these conditions doing 50 miles an hour, it doesn't matter what you have on your car. It's not designed to help you if you are driving recklessly with it. Okay, so you got to slow down. You got to be careful, because that's the last thing we want to see on one of these cameras. Is we're talking about the road conditions and road safety, and we watch a crash take place because people are not driving safely. There are so many things closed and not running today that there's about 100 good reasons to stay home. But if for any reason, like you're us or your first responders, you don't necessarily have a choice. You've got to get out. You guys know you've got to slow down. You got to take it easy. If you don't have to be out, don't be out. All right, Highway 43, looking south from I-44 towards Seneca. There's snow patches out there. I-49 at Rangeline, looking back to the east. Snow still on the road. Overpasses and the exit ramps are still covered as well. This is the Main Street exit. Here's Main Street. Here's I-44. That's Mercy behind the banner, so we're looking east again. Snow, snow. Snow, 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 snow. It's everywhere. The crews are working. They're doing as fast as they can, as quickly as they can, as much as they can, but it's going to take time. Look at the snow still packed in here on 69 south of Pittsburgh. I can't emphasize it enough, and I know some of you folks are probably going crazy, but we've watched these cameras. Elise and myself, we've been here, we've watched these. We are seeing too many people getting this close to a serious accident, and that's not what we want to have happen. You've got to be safe this morning, okay? All right, we've got covered roadways everywhere in southeast Kansas. According to KDOT here, everything is covered. I know some of these say clear. They're not. It's just a little glitch with this map. At least now it understands what closed is, which is good. But everything here is covered. The only thing we have some clearing on is around Garnett, where we've got some partially covered roads. Missouri is the same way. I-44 from the state line to St. Louis. I-49 from Arkansas to Kansas City, covered. That's the two main interstates on this side, completely covered. Every highway in between that the state takes care of is covered. And if they're covered, you understand then the city streets are probably covered. Your side streets, absolutely covered. Your driveway probably hasn't been shoveled yet. It's not safe to get out. And I can't emphasize enough, because I'm afraid we're going to sit here and we're going to watch, or we're going to be on air and we're going to see a crash take place that could have been avoided. Snow, we got another band across southeast Kansas continuing to roll to the east. The main band that we got last night into early this morning is starting to exit our area. Once this is clear, which it should be in the next hour or two, we'll be done with the accumulating snow. And we head into the afternoon, we're just left with some isolated snow showers, maybe a few flurries here and there. Mostly cloudy skies, north winds gusting to 20. Temperatures chilly, but still warmer more than where we had been the last several days. 26 in Joplin right now, 27 in Pittsburgh at this time. And across the area, we don't have any significant wind chills, which is good. Temperatures still slowly warming. We've got still mostly upper 20s, but we got 31 Chanute Yates Center and 30 in Sedan. We are looking at highs today, ultimately in the low to mid 30s. That snow wrapping up, maybe a stray flurry or two with those mostly cloudy skies. Otherwise, we'll be clearing out. Winds shift out of the south tonight. We're going to be a little warmer tomorrow. We'll talk about that and maybe another round of snow next week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. The Missouri Southern Board of Governors has greenlit a significant investment in the future of the university's sports and events facilities. The board has approved the allocation of $2.1 million from university reserved funds for a comprehensive overhaul of the Leggett and Platt Athletic Center. Now, this 25-year-old building has hosted over 600 banquets, welcomed U.S. presidents, and even served as a refuge during the 2011 Joplin tornado. It is now set for an upgrade as university leaders address its aging infrastructure.
Have quite the history with the building as others in the community might. I certainly understand there's probably some fans and community members that will have that kind of feeling of nostalgia that they'll hate to see some of the things change. But again, at 25 years old, it was just time. It's time for the building to get those updates. And
Now, phase one of the renovations begins this summer with new bleachers, track and field, and a baseball court. Two board members of Great Wonders Productions are busy checking in filmmakers for the Great Wonders Uplift Film Fest. The festival kicked off yesterday at Route 66 Movie Theater in Webb City. The films featured at the festival were created by filmmakers in Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. More than 25 films will be featured over the course of the three-day festival. The festival concludes on Saturday with an awards ceremony. The public is welcome to attend the film screenings.
The Great Wonders Productions mission statement, which is to support and uplift filmmakers from the 4 state regions, and then also to partner with them to create content that is uplifting stories.
Elizabeth says the film festival brings in people from out of town and boosts local businesses. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and that means Shannon Becker joins us with his big 3 stories of the week. And we continue to track snow chances for today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon. Did you get here safely?
Slip sliding away.
Yeah, exactly it.
It's kind of like that.
That's exactly it.
If people have to be out, of course,
Right.
take your time. You got to think about the sidewalks and driveways. That's probably the most dangerous part of everybody's day.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's take a look at the big 3 stories. What's happening where you live, our big stories of the week. Well, at Main Street, the exit 6. There's a barrier there on the westbound lanes. It's been a problem. There have been 2 serious crashes there in the past couple of weeks. So that was one of them that happened just this last week. Here's another one where a tractor trailer had crashed into that median barrier. So day before yesterday, traffic was slowed as MoDOT installed, they're called like lane delineators is what they are. They're kind of, they can collapse if somebody actually hits them, but they extend out pretty far. So if you can see here, I took the video, and you can see there's a lot more warning. Whereas before it was just the yellow, and now you've got all those delineators there. Yes.
Much safer.
So hopefully that will alleviate what's happening. They have paused the construction on that project till the spring, they said. Unknown reason. Our number 2 story, KOAM News Now, live and breaking news. You talked about it this week. We were there live. A house fire. The roof collapsed. Very cold that morning. It was about 12 degrees, 21st and Wall. The home was unoccupied. It's a residence under remodel, Joplin Fire Department. Our number 1 story, Joplin News First, was this last weekend. The big story, you got family and friends in Kansas City.
Yes, I do.
Oh my goodness,
It's
was that not insane?
Unbelievable.
Well, that's the Grandview Triangle. This is some
Look at
video
that. That's so scary.
near the Grandview Triangle, and that tractor trailer, he just was working it as much as he could. And then I had somebody else send me this video. This one is really bizarre. It is a tanker. This person's taking the video as they're hanging out their window, and it's behind them. A tanker carrying hazardous material.
Right behind you, slipping and sliding.
Oh my gosh. Well,
they got it really bad.
It was, and it was ice. Now we have snow.
Right.
All right, and our bonus story of the week, it kind of relates to today. If you see a vehicle wrapped in yellow tape, that means it's already been checked on by authorities or first responders and stuff. Nobody's in the vehicle. There's so many wreckers can't even get to them right now, so they're just kind of sitting there wrapped next to the road. This is on Missouri 171 last night. I was up till about 3. This pickup truck is actually off the road south of 96 Highway on Missouri 171, so near Carl Junction. Don't call it in. It happened around 8 o'clock last night. Nobody was injured, but they'll leave it until the weather's a little bit better where they can get it out. As I sat there and did my little story, they called 911 3 times, different people did.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. You see the yellow tape then.
You see the yellow tape, don't call 911. Be careful out there.
Absolutely.
All right?
Yes, please. Well, Shannon, thank you so much. As always, happy to see you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, it is time for some Friday birthdays. Now, because of Jimmy Carter's funeral yesterday, we did not have a 6 a.m. news, so we've actually combined our birthday list from yesterday and today, so it's going to be a long one. We got a lot of birthdays to get through, but we've got Remy Wyrick celebrating birthday number 9. Says love Mom, Dad, Aspen, Carson, Kennedy, Emerson, Nana, Papa, and Ava.
And in Fort Scott, a happy 11th birthday to Jace Marbury. Says here, happy birthday from Mom, Dad, Weston, and Ty.
And in Gerard, Gannon Carson celebrating birthday number 13. Happy birthday, Gannon.
And happy 14th birthday to Ava Crahan from Carl Junction. It says here, happy birthday, sweet girl. Love Mom, Dad, Joe, Ashlyn, Donovan, Caden, Nanny, Papa, and Grandma Christine.
All right, and we've got another 14th birthday. This one just west in Columbus. Gracie Zook celebrating number 14. Happy birthday, Gracie.
And also celebrating their 14th birthday in Columbus. A happy birthday to Kalia Cooper. It says from Donna and Papa, love you.
And in Wyandotte, Emmeline Wallen celebrating birthday number 16. A very happy birthday to you.
And a happy 18th birthday to Eric Reeks in Frontenac. Says love Dad, Nana, and Papa.
And we also have Mashia Schultz celebrating birthday number 42, our neighbor down in Crestline.
And a happy 47th birthday to Steve Culp. It says here, happy birthday from Mel, Julie, Baby, Ruby, Oscar, Max, and Pete.
And Chad Bartley celebrating birthday number 48. Says happy birthday. We love you, Steve and Darlene.
And a happy 51st birthday to Shelly Young in Parsons.
And just north in Fort Scott, Wanda Haley celebrating birthday number 93. Says love from your family and friends.
And in Columbus, a happy birthday to James Hutto.
And we've also got Christy Cleveland celebrating another year wiser. Says happy birthday, wishing you a wonderful day and year ahead.
And a happy birthday to Donna Lipoglev. It says we love you, Kay and Joe Goebel.
And Stacy my God, she's gonna take that hand and smack me on the back of the head. Stacy Strader. I'm just kidding. She's excellent. She is our integrated media director. That is a title that you say that 3 times fast. Right. Okay. She has a lot. She does so much for this station. When I started, she was a producer. She was one of the first producers when I was starting. She was in charge of like approving my scripts and stuff. So I have a fear of her, if that makes sense. Like, I respect her opinion, but I also fear that criticism. I was always afraid to turn those scripts in because I'm like, man, I hope it's up to Stacy's standards. So Stacy, thank you for helping me over the last 8 years now, and a very happy birthday to you.
Absolutely. Stacy's standards are certainly one you want to meet. Happy birthday, Stacy.
They certainly are.
And technical media operator here at KOAM, Lydia Barbie, is also celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday.
And our list, believe it or not, continues. We head down to Crestline, where Phoenix Wade is celebrating birthday number 19.
And in Springfield, a happy birthday to Jeff Johnson. It says happy birthday, love Mom.
And Judy Craven celebrating another year wiser, says happy birthday from Aaron, Kaylee, Jackson, and Lucas.
And last but not least in Oswego, a happy birthday to Wade Natting. Says happy birthday from his office at Davis Real Estate.
All right, now that was a great list of birthdays and anniversaries. Now again, part of that's because we had to combine a couple of days, but I tell you what, I don't feel like we'd have to combine a couple of days to make that list that long every time. And if you want to help us celebrate and you want to celebrate with us, Elise, what should they do?
Go ahead and submit those wonderful birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos, messages to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to, of course, include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Very important information for sure. All right, we got some stuff to talk about, and I almost feel like I need a fireplace back here, I need a chair, a sweater, and I need to sit down and have an honest conversation with folks at home. It's gotten slightly better, not much. We've been watching these cameras all morning long, especially here on 7th Street. We're seeing folks, not these folks in particular, but we are seeing folks going way too fast for the conditions this morning. We have seen no fewer than 3 near-miss rear-end accidents up here at 7th and Main from folks slowing down or trying to turn because there's no delineated lanes here. You're basically looking at 2-lane traffic right now. We have seen those near crashes from folks slowing down to turn and others following too closely. We had a guy who was driving very carefully, made a very slow, easy turn here, and still could not straighten out in the slush and went up onto the curb, just kept going straight there. Please, if you don't have to be out today, which the closings that you're seeing either on air, on the app, on the website, on social media, are a great reason to not go out. And the other great reason are these road conditions. They haven't really changed much. Now, road crews are out, they're doing everything they can, but it makes it a lot harder when folks are out, especially those who do not need to be out, okay? If you can stay home right now, do so. That way, maybe this afternoon, because believe it or not, it's going to get above freezing, which will certainly help, but they can't get things done if everyone's lining up on the roads. All right, so let's stay home if we can. We can get out either later today or tomorrow when it's going to be a little better. MoDOT camera. This is I-44 on Highway 43 here, looking south. And you can still see, we still have some snow cover out there. It's a little better than it was even just 20 minutes ago, but still, you're going to need to slow down. I-44 and Range Line. Looking back east, we can see the lines now, but again, still some snow cover, still slush, still slick spots. This is Main Street and I-44, so Main Street's down here, I-44 of course up overhead. Same situation, still slight improvements, but there's still plenty of slush and snow on these roadways, and you've got to slow down if you do have to be out today. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line from that little drive where, say, you get out of Home Depot around Aldi is, you come back down and you can still see a fair amount of snow here on the westbound lanes of 20th, whereas the eastbound side, you got maybe 1.5 clear lanes, okay? And that's the other thing. We're not even looking at full clear lanes. And a very similar situation, 32nd and Range Line, in terms of those road conditions there. And KDOT, again, making progress. We're seeing a little more of the road here, but you can see, as this vehicle comes by, you can still see how much snow cover there is on 69. This is just south of Pittsburgh. Now, this person here, being very smart, very safe, very responsible. Slow down if you do have to be out, okay? Here's a look at road conditions in our area. Again, just a little glitch with the map. These are not clear. We are looking at covered everywhere except around Garnett, where it's that light blue color, which is partially covered, but every other highway on this map is still listed as covered this morning. And the same applies to Missouri. So for interstate travelers, that's going to include I-44 from the state line to St. Louis, I-49 from the state line at Arkansas toward Kansas City. Also covered, every highway in between is still listed as covered as well. So you've got to slow down. You got to be smart. Still some snow out there, but it will continue to progressively roll out. The last of the moderate snow band pushing out in the next couple of hours, and then we'll just be left with some chilly temperatures, gusty winds, and some flurries. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., 2 8th graders are hailed as heroes as they help a woman who was injured after a fall.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Carthage Humane Society informed the city of Carthage that it is terminating its contract with the city. This cuts off city funding to the shelter. It means the city can surrender animals without paying a $200 fee per animal. The mayor of Carthage says the termination was unexpected and that there have been recent discussions about increasing funding. The Joplin Schools Board of Education announces its approval for the first phase of upcoming projects. Phase 1 funding is to focus on these projects with total $9.5 million to be funded by capital outlay reserves. The committee plans to present their final long-term recommendations to the board in June 2025. The city of Joplin held a meeting to answer questions from residents about the relaunch of the Sunshine Lamp Trolley. The service was halted in 2022 due to a lack of bus drivers. The city has now hired new drivers. They expect the trolley to be up and running by the first week of February. And that's to check up today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, as we've been saying all morning, if you don't have to go out, don't. If you do, you've got to slow down and give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Watch out for those slick spots because they are everywhere. Eventually, the bulk of the snow will come to an end. A few snow showers, flurries possible this afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. Highs low to mid 30s. North winds gusting to 20. Mostly cloudy skies continue through the evening and overnight. We're back into the upper teens, low 20s. Southwest winds 5 to 10. Then they'll be out of the south tomorrow, gusting to 20 to 25. A little warmer, upper 30s, low 40s. Same on Sunday, just not as windy and some flurries possible. A little warmer next week with another system by the end of next week.
Alrighty. And coming up today at noon, we're making what do you call them bars in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. The NFL playoffs begin this weekend. Ahead on CBS Mornings, meet the Broadway designer enhancing the Baltimore Ravens uniforms to help give them an edge.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, the Hartford police are on a life-saving patrol to help the homeless survive the cold.
And Shannon Becker back in the studio with his big 3 stories of the week. That's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. Please don't go out if you don't have to, and if you do, slow down, and we will see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.